Welcome. Today we're exploring the top 5 rare United States of America state $quarter coins, each valued for different conditions, key mint marks, and special varieties that collectors are always searching for. From early releases in the statehood series and low mintage issues to rare mint mark varieties and high-grade uncirculated examples, these state quarter coins can sometimes be worth far more than their face value. The condition of the coin, whether it is heavily circulated, lightly worn, uncirculated, or preserved in pristine mint state, can greatly influence its collector value. Mint marks such as P, D, and S, along with special proof versions and notable mint errors, play an important role in determining rarity and demand among collectors. Let's get started. First up. In the exciting world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest pieces of metal can carry the biggest stories. Among modern American coins, one piece that continues to attract collectors and history lovers is the beautiful Indiana state quarter. At first glance it may look like a simple 25-cent coin used in everyday shopping, but behind its design lies a fascinating story of American heritage, state pride, and the thrill of discovery that keeps collectors searching through their pocket change. This particular coin belongs to the historic 50-state quarters program, a program that completely changed how people viewed ordinary coins. Instead of simple circulating currency, quarters suddenly became collectible pieces of art representing every state in the nation. The program was created and released by the United States Mint, which designed a unique reverse image for each state. As the program progressed, millions of people across the country began collecting the coins, hoping to complete the full 50-state set. When the Indiana quarter was released in 2002, collectors and everyday Americans eagerly searched their change for this special coin. It represented the pride of a state with deep history and strong cultural identity. Indiana officially became the 19th state admitted into the United States in the year 1816, and the quarter's design proudly celebrates that historic moment. Looking at the front side of the coin, viewers immediately recognize the famous portrait of George Washington. His left-facing profile has appeared on the American quarter for decades and symbolizes leadership, unity, and the founding of the nation. Washington's portrait appears strong and dignified, surrounded by important inscriptions that give meaning to the coin. At the top of the coin, the word liberty is boldly engraved, representing the freedom and independence that define the nation. To the side of the portrait appears the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has been featured on American currency for many generations and continues to hold symbolic importance. Below the portrait, the date 2002 indicates the year when this particular coin was minted and released into circulation. Collectors always look closely for a mint mark near the date because it reveals which mint facility produced the coin. On this example, the small letter D appears, indicating that the coin was produced at the famous Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins for circulation across the United States and is known for its long history in American coin production. When we turn the coin over, the reverse side reveals the beautiful design created to represent the state of Indiana. At the center of the design, a powerful racehorse leaps energetically across the coin, symbolizing Indiana's deep connection with horse racing and its proud sporting traditions. This image reflects the state's famous racing culture and the excitement associated with horse racing events that have taken place in Indiana for generations. Surrounding the horse are 19 shining stars arranged carefully around the design. These stars represent Indiana's position as the 19th state admitted to the Union. Within the design, the name Indiana appears prominently, ensuring that the identity of the state is clearly celebrated on the coin. Above the horse, the year 1816 is engraved, marking the historic year when Indiana officially joined the United States. Along the upper rim of the coin, the words United States of America are displayed clearly and proudly. At the bottom, the denomination $quarter confirms the coin's face value. When these coins were first released in 2002, they sparked incredible excitement across the country. People began examining their pocket change more carefully than ever before, hoping to discover newly released state quarters. Some collectors even visited banks to obtain entire rolls of new coins in order to search for the best examples. Although millions of Indiana quarters were produced, many were quickly saved by collectors who wanted to keep them as part of their growing state quarter collections. However, countless others continued traveling through circulation, moving from person to person through everyday transactions. The example being discussed here is described as being in very fine condition, which is a desirable grade among collectors of circulated coins. A coin in very fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains strong details across most of the design. On the front side, Washington's hair strands and facial features remain visible and well defined. The inscriptions around the coin remain clear and readable, which is an important sign of preserved detail. On the reverse side, the powerful racehorse remains clearly visible with much of its original design intact. The surrounding stars are still recognizable even though some gentle smoothing may appear on the highest points. Coins that remain in very fine condition after years of circulation often attract interest from collectors because they still display most of their original character. Over time, these coins may develop subtle toning and surface textures that reflect their long journey through everyday use. These natural changes give each coin a unique personality and visual appeal that collectors often appreciate. Imagine how many places this Indiana quarter might have traveled since its release in 2002. It may have passed through grocery stores, restaurants, highways, banks, and countless pockets and purses across the country. Every exchange added another chapter to the coin story until someone eventually recognized its historical charm. Today, collectors continue searching through old coin jars, inherited collections, and bankrolls hoping to discover hidden treasures among ordinary coins. Sometimes a coin that appears common at first glance can reveal unusual minting features or rare variations that dramatically increase its value. Because of this possibility, experienced collectors carefully study every detail of the coins they encounter. The Indiana quarter from 2002 with the Denver Mint mark remains an important piece within the state quarter series and a fascinating symbol of American history. Holding such a coin connects collectors not only to the story of Indiana but also to the excitement of modern coin collecting. And in rare circumstances, when an exceptional example appears with remarkable quality and strong collector demand, a single coin like this has been known to reach the astonishing value of $45,000. Next up, the beautiful Alaska State Quarter. At first glance, it may look like a simple 25-cent coin used in daily transactions, but hidden within its design is a fascinating tribute to one of the most majestic and wild states in America. This coin is part of the famous 50-state quarters program, an extraordinary coin program that changed how people viewed everyday currency. Before this program began, most people rarely paid attention to the designs on their coins, but the introduction of state quarters sparked excitement across the entire nation. The program was created by the United States Mint with the goal of celebrating each of the 50 states through unique and meaningful coin designs. Every state received its own quarter featuring imagery that represented its culture, nature, and history. When the Alaska quarter was released in the year 2008, collectors and everyday citizens quickly became fascinated by its bold and dramatic design. The coin proudly represents the vast wilderness and natural beauty that Alaska is famous for. Alaska became the 49th state to join the United States in 1959, making it one of the newest states in the nation. Because of its enormous size and breathtaking landscapes, Alaska is often known as the last frontier. Looking at the front side of the coin, collectors immediately recognize the iconic portrait of George Washington. His familiar profile has appeared on American quarters for many decades and symbolizes the leadership that helped establish the United States. Washington's portrait faces toward the left side of the coin, and his expression reflects determination and strength. Surrounding the portrait are inscriptions that hold deep national meaning. Across the top of the coin, the word liberty appears clearly engraved, representing the freedom that defines the American nation. This word has appeared on American coins for generations and remains one of the most important national symbols. Beside Washington's portrait, the phrase "In God We Trust" is carefully engraved, continuing a long tradition of including this motto on United States currency. Below the portrait, the date 2008 marks the year when this Alaska quarter was produced and released into circulation. Collectors carefully look near the date to find the mint mark that identifies where the coin was produced. On this example, the small letter P appears, indicating that the coin was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since the earliest days of the United States and continues to play a major role in the nation's coin production. When the coin is turned over, the reverse side reveals one of the most impressive designs in the entire state quarter series. At the center of the design stands a powerful grizzly bear emerging from the water with a large salmon firmly held in its jaws. This striking image perfectly represents the wild and untamed nature of Alaska's wilderness. The salmon symbolizes Alaska's rich fishing industry, while the bear represents the strength and wildlife that thrive within the state's vast landscapes. Above the bear, the word Alaska is proudly displayed, making the identity of the state clear to anyone who sees the coin. Just beside the bear appears the phrase "the Great Land," which is a famous nickname used to describe Alaska's enormous and breathtaking territory. Below the design, the year 1959 is engraved, marking the year when Alaska officially became part of the United States. Along the top edge of the coin, the words United States of America appear clearly, while the denomination quarter dollar is displayed at the bottom. When these coins were first released in 2008, they quickly became popular among collectors because of their dramatic design. Many people began checking their change more carefully than ever before, hoping to discover one of these new Alaska quarters. Some collectors even visited banks to obtain entire rolls of quarters so they could search for the best examples to add to their collections. Although millions of Alaska quarters were produced, many eventually entered circulation and traveled through countless everyday transactions. The coin being discussed here is described as being in good condition, meaning it has spent years moving through circulation and shows visible signs of wear. Even so, the main design elements remain visible and recognizable, allowing collectors to appreciate the artistry of the coin. On the front side, Washington's portrait may show smoothing on the highest points, but his overall profile remains clearly identifiable. The inscriptions around the coin are still readable despite years of use. On the reverse side, the powerful bear and the salmon it holds can still be recognized, though some details may appear softened due to circulation. Coins in good condition often carry a special charm because they clearly show the passage of time and the journey they have taken. Imagine how many hands this Alaska quarter may have passed through since it was first released. It may have traveled through bustling cities, quiet rural towns, busy airports, and small local shops across the country. Every exchange added another chapter to the life story of this small but meaningful coin. Eventually, someone noticed the beauty of the design and decided to save it rather than spend it. Today, collectors continue searching through jars of loose change, inherited coin collections, and bankrolls hoping to discover coins like this one. Sometimes a coin that appears ordinary at first glance can reveal unusual minting characteristics or rare variations that greatly increase its value. Because of this possibility, serious collectors carefully examine every coin they encounter. The Alaska quarter from 2008 with the Philadelphia mint mark remains a memorable piece of the state quarter series and a symbol of the breathtaking wilderness of Alaska. Holding such a coin connects collectors to the natural beauty of the state and the history of modern American coinage. And in rare circumstances, when a remarkable example appears with special characteristics and strong collector demand, a single coin like this can reach an astonishing value of $45,000. Next up, the beautiful Tennessee State Quarter. At first glance, it might look like a simple 25-cent coin used in everyday transactions, but for collectors who understand its story, this coin represents an exciting part of modern American coin history. This coin belongs to the famous 50 State Quarters program, a remarkable initiative that transformed ordinary pocket change into collectible pieces celebrating every state in the nation. The program became one of the most successful coin programs ever introduced in the United States. The program was launched by the United States Mint with the goal of honoring the unique heritage of all 50 states through special reverse designs on circulating quarters. As each new coin was released, collectors across the country rushed to find them in their pocket change. When the Tennessee Quarter was released in 2002, it quickly captured the attention of collectors and music lovers alike. The design chosen for the coin celebrates the deep musical roots that have made Tennessee famous throughout the world. Tennessee became the 16th state to join the United States in the year 1796, and the coin proudly reflects this historic milestone. Looking at the front side of the coin, viewers immediately recognize the iconic portrait of George Washington. His familiar profile has appeared on American quarters for decades and symbolizes leadership, courage, and the founding of the nation. Washington faces toward the left side of the coin, and his portrait is surrounded by inscriptions that carry powerful national meaning. Across the top of the coin, the word liberty appears clearly engraved. This word represents one of the most important ideals of the United States and has been a defining symbol on American coinage for generations. Beside Washington's portrait, the national motto "In God We Trust" can be seen clearly, continuing a long tradition of including this phrase on United States currency. Below the portrait, the date 2002 marks the year when this particular Tennessee quarter was produced. Collectors always pay close attention to the small mint mark near the date because it reveals which mint facility created the coin. On this example, the small letter D appears. This mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the historic Denver Mint, one of the most important minting locations in the country. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins for circulation and has played a major role in supplying American currency for decades. Turning the coin over reveals the unique and artistic design created to represent the state of Tennessee. The reverse design is especially fascinating because it celebrates Tennessee's deep musical heritage. At the center of the coin, three musical instruments appear arranged together. These instruments include a guitar, a fiddle, and a trumpet, each representing one of Tennessee's major musical traditions. The guitar represents the rich country music history connected to the city of Nashville, often called the heart of country music. The trumpet symbolizes the jazz heritage associated with the musical culture of Memphis. The fiddle represents the traditional Appalachian music that developed in the eastern part of the state. Together, these instruments celebrate Tennessee as one of the most important musical centers in the United States. Above the instruments, the word Tennessee appears boldly engraved across the coin. Just below it, the year 1796 marks the year when Tennessee officially became the 16th state to join the Union. Along the upper rim, the words United States of America appear clearly, while the denomination quarter dollar is engraved along the bottom edge. When these coins were first released in 2002, they quickly became favorites among collectors because of their beautiful and meaningful design. Many people across the country began searching their pocket change carefully, hoping to find the Tennessee quarter. Some collectors even visited banks to purchase entire rolls of quarters so they could search for coins in the best possible condition. Although millions of these quarters were produced, many eventually entered circulation and traveled through countless everyday transactions. The example being discussed here is described as being in very fine condition, which means it shows moderate circulation wear but still retains strong design details. On the front side, Washington's hair details and facial features remain clearly visible despite years of use. The inscriptions surrounding the portrait remain readable and well preserved. On the reverse side, the musical instruments remain recognizable, and the design still reflects the artistic beauty intended by the coin's creators. Coins graded in very fine condition often show wear on the highest points of the design, but still display most of their original features. Over time, coins naturally develop subtle toning and surface textures that reflect their journey through circulation. These characteristics give the coin a sense of history and authenticity that collectors often appreciate. Imagine how many places this Tennessee quarter may have traveled since the year 2002. It may have passed through busy cities, small towns, music festivals, restaurants, and markets across the United States. Each exchange added another chapter to the story of this small but fascinating piece of American history. Eventually, someone noticed the coin's design and historical significance and decided to save it rather than spend it. Today, collectors continue searching through jars of loose coins, inherited collections, and bankrolls hoping to rediscover pieces like this one. Sometimes a coin that appears ordinary can contain rare minting characteristics or unusual variations that dramatically increase its value. Because of this possibility, experienced collectors carefully study every detail of the coins they find. The Tennessee quarter from 2002 with the Denver Mint mark remains an important part of the state quarter series and a tribute to the musical spirit of the state. Holding such a coin connects collectors not only to the history of Tennessee but also to the excitement of modern coin collecting. And in rare situations when a truly exceptional example appears with special characteristics and strong collector demand, a coin like this has been known to reach the remarkable value of $45,000. Next up, the South Carolina State Quarter is no exception. While it might appear at first glance to be a simple 25-cent piece used in everyday transactions, for collectors who understand its story, this coin is a window into history, artistry, and the unique identity of one of America's earliest states. Released as part of the iconic 50-state quarters program, the South Carolina Quarter represents not only the rich cultural and historical heritage of the Palmetto State, but also a period in U.S. minting history when ordinary pocket change became collectible treasures overnight. The 50-state quarters program, launched by the United States Mint, was one of the most ambitious and successful numismatic projects in U.S. history. Its goal was to honor each state with a unique reverse design on circulating quarters, capturing symbols, landmarks, and historical elements that define each state's legacy. When the South Carolina Quarter was released in the year 2000, it immediately drew the attention of coin collectors nationwide, creating excitement that transformed everyday change into a treasure hunt. Collectors eagerly sought out coins with specific mint marks and conditions to add to their growing collections, understanding that even coins in circulation could hold exceptional value over time. The front side of the South Carolina Quarter features the familiar portrait of George Washington beside the date indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the most important and historic facilities in the United States. Coins from the Denver Mint are highly sought after by collectors, as each facility can produce subtle differences in strike and finish, adding another layer of uniqueness to each coin. Turning the coin over, the The reverse side reveals a stunning depiction that celebrates South Carolina's legacy and identity. The central image features a depiction of the state bird, the Carolina wren, perched gracefully on a branch. Surrounding this bird is the state tree, the sabal palmetto, whose fronds elegantly stretch across the coin. Together, the bird and tree embody South Carolina's natural beauty and enduring heritage. Above these symbols, the word South Carolina is boldly inscribed, while below, the year of statehood, 1788, reminds collectors that South Carolina was the 8th state to join the Union. Along the rim, United States of America crowns the top while quarter dollar anchors the bottom, providing a complete frame for this visually rich and historically meaningful design. Collectors immediately notice the exceptional artistry and craftsmanship of the reverse design. The South Carolina quarter doesn't just celebrate state pride, it represents the fusion of natural beauty and historical significance. The level of detail in the bird's feathers, the texture of the palmetto fronds, and the overall composition make it a piece of art, not just currency. For anyone interested in American history, nature, or design, holding this coin is a tangible connection to the state's culture and the story of the United States. What makes this particular South Carolina quarter so special is its condition. Graded as extra fine, this coin has seen some circulation but retains almost all of its original detail and luster. On the obverse side, George Washington's features remain sharp and well-defined, with clear inscriptions surrounding his portrait. The reverse side preserves nearly all of the intricate details of the palmetto fronds and Carolina wren, making it stand out from coins that have been heavily worn over the years. Extra-fine coins are highly sought after by collectors because they strike a balance between being a circulated piece of history and maintaining collectible quality. Beyond the physical attributes, the South Carolina quarter carries stories of its journey through everyday life. Imagine the hands it passed through, the students buying lunch, the shopkeepers giving change, the families using it in household transactions. Each mark, each subtle scratch tells a tale of real-world use while maintaining the core artistry of the coin. The journey of a coin like this adds to its allure, as collectors value both the historical context and the life of the coin itself. Collectors also appreciate the significance of the mint mark in determining value. Coins from the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mark, are often compared with Philadelphia Mint coins from the same year. Subtle differences in strike quality, texture, and circulation patterns can affect rarity and desirability. As such, identifying and securing coins with specific mint marks in excellent or extra-fine condition is a critical part of serious coin collecting. The South Carolina quarter also appeals to thematic collectors, those who focus on wildlife, state emblems, or historical commemoratives. The Carolina wren and sabal palmetto make this coin highly desirable for those specializing in state birds and trees, while its inclusion in the 50-state quarters program places it in the larger narrative of American numismatic history. Collectors often seek to complete full sets of all 50 states, and the South Carolina quarter is a key piece in achieving that goal. Additionally, the coin's appeal is enhanced by its historical context. The turn of the millennium marked a period of renewed interest in U.S. coinage, with collectors actively hunting for coins with minimal wear, proper mint marks, and visually appealing surfaces. Coins from this period often retain higher intrinsic and collector value because they represent a blend of modern minting precision and classic design traditions. Coins like the South Carolina quarter also serve as educational tools. Young collectors, educators, and history enthusiasts use these coins to learn about state symbols, historical figures, and natural heritage. Holding a coin in hand allows for tactile engagement with history, creating a more memorable learning experience than reading about it in a textbook. The extra-fine condition of this coin ensures that collectors are enjoying the best possible visual representation of South Carolina's iconic symbols. Even small details, such as the texture of the bird's feathers or the veins of the palmetto leaves, remain visible and appreciated. The coin becomes a miniature work of art that transcends its monetary value, inspiring collectors and history enthusiasts alike. Collectors today continue to hunt for coins like this in rolls, jars, or inherited collections, always seeking the right combination of condition and mint mark. While many circulated coins exist, those graded extra fine with a Denver Mint mark are more difficult to find, making them particularly desirable in the secondary market. Over time, coins like this can increase in value due to their scarcity, condition, and historical significance. Serious collectors and investors pay close attention to supply, demand, and grading to assess potential investment opportunities. Coins that maintain a strong grade over decades often appreciate, making them not only historical treasures but also sound collector investments. The South Carolina quarter's design, condition, and mint origin combine to create a coin that tells a layered story. It is a snapshot of early 21st century America, reflecting the cultural pride, natural beauty, and historical reverence of one of the country's oldest states. Next up, the journey of coin collecting is as fascinating as the coins themselves, and the Delaware State Quarter is a perfect example of how history, artistry, and numismatic value can converge into a single, remarkable piece of currency. At first glance, this quarter may appear as a simple 25-cent coin, but to collectors who understand the significance of mint marks, design, and condition, it represents an opportunity to own a tangible piece of American history. The Delaware Quarter, released as part of the renowned 50-State Quarters program, captures the essence of the first state, combining historical symbolism, state pride, and detailed craftsmanship that makes it a standout collectible among numismatic enthusiasts across the country. The 50-State Quarters program, launched by the United States Mint, was not just an ambitious initiative but also a cultural phenomenon. Beginning in 1999, the program aimed to celebrate the heritage, culture, and iconic symbols of each of the 50 states through unique quarter designs. Delaware, being the first state to ratify the Constitution in 1787, naturally earned the distinction of having its coin released first. This historical precedence adds an extra layer of significance for collectors, as the Delaware Quarter marks the beginning of a series that would become one of the most popular and widely collected coin programs in U.S. history. On the obverse side of the Delaware Quarter, collectors are greeted with the familiar, dignified profile of George Washington struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint are highly regarded by collectors, as they are often the benchmark for quality, consistency, and historical significance, making the identification of the mint mark a critical step in evaluating a coin's value. Flipping the coin over reveals a reverse design that tells the story of Delaware's rich history. The central image depicts Caesar Rodney on horseback, heroically riding to cast his historic vote for independence during the American Revolution. This design, filled with motion and emotion, captures a pivotal moment in the fight for liberty and independence. The attention to detail in Rodney's posture, the horse's stride, and the flowing lines of the background evokes a sense of drama and significance. The inscriptions include the state's name, Delaware, and the year of statehood, 1787, along with United States of America and quarter dollar framing the scene, completing a visually balanced and historically resonant coin design. What sets this particular Delaware quarter apart is its condition. Graded as extra fine, it retains nearly all of its original detail and luster despite having seen limited circulation. The contours of Caesar Rodney, the muscles and posture of the horse, and the inscriptions all remain crisp and clearly defined. On the obverse side, George Washington's profile maintains its sharpness, with the finer details of his hair, facial features, and uniform still visible. Extra fine coins like this one are highly prized because they offer collectors the opportunity to own a coin that bridges the gap between circulated history and near-pristine preservation, making it an ideal addition to any serious collection. Beyond its artistic and historical value, the Delaware Quarter represents a tactile connection to everyday American life at the turn of the millennium. Imagine the hands it passed through, students paying for snacks, shopkeepers giving change, families using it for errands. Each mark, scratch, or minor imperfection tells a story of its journey through daily life, adding character and authenticity while maintaining the core design elements that make it collectible. Coins like this carry the narrative of both circulation and historical significance, making them far more than simple currency. Collectors also pay close attention to the mint mark when determining the desirability and potential value of a coin. Philadelphia minted quarters, indicated by the P mark, are highly regarded because the mint has historically maintained superior striking quality. Even subtle differences in strike depth, luster, and metal composition can influence a coin's rarity and market value. Securing an extra fine coin with a Philadelphia mint mark can be the difference between a routine collector's item and a highly sought-after treasure. The Delaware Quarter appeals not only to general collectors but also to those who focus on thematic and historical collections. Its depiction of Caesar Rodney on horseback, a key figure in the nation's fight for independence, makes it a centerpiece for collections focused on Revolutionary War heroes, state-specific history, or commemorative coins. Its inclusion in the 50-State Quarters program further adds to its appeal for collectors seeking to complete sets and own a piece of the broader story of American numismatics. The coin's historical context enhances its value. Released in 1999, at a time when public interest in coin collecting was surging, the Delaware Quarter was both widely available and highly desired. Collectors were actively seeking coins with minimal wear, proper mint marks, and visually appealing surfaces. Extra fine examples, especially those with Philadelphia mint marks, quickly rose in prominence due to their limited availability in superior condition. One cannot underestimate the educational potential of this coin. Teachers, young collectors, and history enthusiasts alike can use the Delaware quarter as a hands-on learning tool. From discussions of the Revolutionary War to explanations of state history, minting processes, and numismatic grading, this coin provides a tangible connection to multiple facets of American culture and history. The preserved condition of this coin ensures that collectors can appreciate every design element, from the fine details of Caesar Rodney's figure to the dynamic rendering of his horse. Even minute features, like the texture of the horse's mane or the folds in Rodney's uniform, remain visible and striking. This level of detail elevates the coin beyond mere currency into the realm of miniature artwork. Collectors continually search for coins in extra fine condition, understanding that these examples are rarer than those that have been heavily circulated. Philadelphia minted quarters from 1999 that have survived decades while maintaining superior detail are particularly prized in the secondary market, making this Delaware quarter highly desirable. Over the years, the value of coins like this can increase due to rarity, condition, and demand among collectors. Coins that retain their original features and exhibit minimal wear often attract both collectors and investors, resulting in appreciation over time. This Delaware quarter, in extra fine condition, is a story frozen in metal. From production at the Philadelphia Mint to its journey through American life, it represents a continuum of history, art, and personal stories of those who once held it. For serious collectors, owning this coin is about more than possession. It is about preserving history, celebrating craftsmanship, and appreciating a piece of American identity. Each curve, line, and inscription carries significance, creating a tangible connection to both the state and the broader narrative of the nation. Extra fine coins with clear mint marks like this one are increasingly scarce, adding to their desirability. Collectors understand the importance of condition and provenance, both of which enhance a coin's numismatic value.